Hello, friends. So happy to be here live on YouTube on this beautiful Saturday morning. I just have to have Mama. Can you pull up the tips? There we go. Okay. In this live, we will be discussing the pain of being weird. Hi, friends and friends we haven't met yet. I am Paige the Puppet, and this is my co-host and co-host and Mama, and her name is Patricia. Patricia with a Y. That Y is important if you happen to be looking her up on the Googles. It's much easier to find her if you spell it correctly. And oh dear, let me just get Mama back in the picture. This is not ideal. I thought that was going to go on forever, and it is actually just the 2 minutes. So I'm going to, oh, now I understand that is coming from, okay, so we got to fix that. That's going to happen every 2 minutes. That's not going to be ideal. Oh, hi, Cool Gamer. Thanks for joining me as we figure out this tech stuff here. This live is going to be all about the pain of being weird. And that's something that we are uh, intimately aware of and experienced with. And it's something that we don't think that enough creative entrepreneurs are really talking about, and that is finding your space, being weird. Because the truth of the matter is, it is hard to be weird. It can be lonely, and well, the internet helps. Finding friends. Thank you, Cool Gamer. We appreciate that you think we are awesome, and most of the time we think we're pretty awesome too. But we have to admit, sometimes we doubt ourselves, and that's a problem, an issue, and what we are talking about on this live today, because we think it's important to talk about those things. So I did have some notes. Yeah, so as I was saying before I started talking to you, Cool Gamer, thanks so much for joining in live. We love it when we get live interaction. Of course, we love it when we get non-live interaction, because it's all about fitting into your life as a small, creative, independent business owner. So, of course, with my mama here and we specialize in champagne marketing on a beer budget for small, creative, independent business owners by explaining the terms. And Mama will be back in just a second here. That blank screen now means absolutely nothing in the moment. She is here with me, and she will reappear in just a moment. See, there, I showed you. She will be back. Yeah, we gotta fix that. We'll try and fix that. But first, I wanted to explain what we're here, what we're doing. Cool Gamer, do you happen to own your own website, or are you a content creator, or do you just come and hang out on all the cool lives out there? Because I noticed that you have been on Savvy. I'm not sure if it's on just Savvy writes books on her lives, but I think I've seen you there, and I'm not sure if I've seen you on the Your Morning Guru show. But anyways, I've noticed you, and I've noticed you, of course, here on my lives. I've been trying to figure out where I fit in this crazy wide world of small business coaching. Um, yeah, so that's where we are. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, we specialize in champagne marketing on a beer budget for small, independent, creative small business owners by explaining the terms and strategies of promotions and profit in ways that are simple to understand and apply. But this video is going to be anything but simple, because we're talking about feelings and visions and being creative in a capitalistic world, one that generally awards conformity. So, yeah, grab a coffee and let's have a conversation. Whether you are alive here, like Cool Gamer is right now, or you're joining us in the afterwards. We are looking forward to having this conversation. We are going to go just a second. If you could just hold on for a minute, Cool Gamer, I'm going to go and fix this little problem in our thing. So yeah, if you'll just excuse us for a moment. Actually, there's Mama again, but she's going to, as she's sitting there, I know you're waiting, I'm going to actually edit this thing so that part doesn't show. So yeah, just 1 second, we will get this fixed so you don't have to put up with that thing. So Mama's going to set it there, and we are going to hope that that works in the afterwards. Mama's going to sit back, and we're going to be back with you live in just a second. Okay, we fixed that. I think so. We just have Mom. Okay, you know what? I'm going to just let Mom take over for a minute. Whose shirt? Mine or Mama's? Thank you, by the way. Yes, both Mama and I are wearing shirts that are special to us today. And I'll just let Mama talk about that. Mama, if you will take over. I know that you have to press a button here so that we can get you to talk. Well, you may forget to make me. Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Patricia with a Y, as Paige just said. And so here we are live, and I wanted to talk about the topic of being weird and the pain that can come with that, because I know that we see so much, and I actually have a page here that explains it a little bit, where you find quotes that say things like being weird is a wonderful thing. And while I agree that being weird is a wonderful thing, it can be a really lonely thing too. At least that's been the experience in my life, and it has been a probably what the abundance people would call a what do they call it? Paige, maybe you can help me out here with the word for that. What is it?
Let's see, what is it? I'm having as much trouble as you trying to figure it out. But yeah, let me just go back. We need to get back to that screen, Mama, the other one, where we can see our peoples and maybe some of their questions. So yeah, Cool Gamer, let us know which shirt, because mine says march to the beat of your own drum, which is kind of what we're talking about. Like, we get messages like this: march to the beat of your own drum, and that sounds really, really cool, but it doesn't work unless you can find people who can march along with you or beside you, or who have complementary instruments to make your drum, not a solo drum. Like, I mean, I know that there is that country song, beating on my lonely drum, blah, 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 blah. But, sometimes you don't want to be lonely as you're beating on a drum. And that kind of is, I don't know about that song much. But I know that Mama's sister-in-law and the nieces, I guess they would be nieces-in-law. Anyways, they liked that song because they got to see that guy live in concert. And that's something that's happening right now, is people are able to go to concerts again, and that's kind of cool in the now. But it doesn't have to do with our topic, which is the pain of being weird, and how being weird can cause loneliness instead of just being this wonderful thing like people say. And that can help, hinder, I guess, that projection of authenticity. Because, for example, here, being anti-MLM is one of the ways that we are weird, at least in our local community. Many people don't really understand being in a small town where MLMs are not only abundant, but recognized almost as, not almost, but genuinely as legitimate business practices. And the lady who is in charge of the women's events for our chamber is an active leader in a prominent MLM. So that's one of the things that makes it hard for us to be public, at least on a local level. I mean, we advertise subtly or market, Mama and I, we try to market subtly in our area. Mama has a page that reaches like about 800 people in our local marketplace. It's called Life in Whitecourt. And she tried to feature, like local businesses and features on the local things that are going on. Like when she was in Toastmasters, we interviewed the then president of Toastmasters and talked about how it was a great way to learn how to speak effectively for an audience, because that's so important to so many streams of living, like being a good speaker. Like Mama applies what she learned in Toastmasters to this very day. But Toastmasters rejected us. Well, not really rejected us, but rejected Mama bringing us to Toastmasters meeting unless we were relevant to whatever particular speech she was working on. And so once she found out that she might not be welcome with us, not the acceptance of her as a totality, you know what I mean? Because we're a part of her. Even though we're not a part of her, we're a part of her, And so that was a real blow to our self-esteem. And that's one of the ways that real life has really been a punch in the face, a punch in the gut to Mama's self-esteem. And one of the ways that being weird has been painful. So yeah, being a puppeteer and being a puppet maker and having this kind of passion about, making things accessible through puppetry wasn't accepted here on a local level. And she feels she knows that it was our existence that kept us from having a future here as because she got certified as a small business coach and trainer through a locally operated, federally funded nonprofit, which was dedicated to helping small businesses to start and grow and to create jobs in our communities, the communities that we served. And Mama loved it. And then one day we were told that we weren't professional, like her doing of these things was not professional. And so that's where being weird has been very painful for Mama. That happened 4 years ago this July. Like, so it's a 4-year anniversary of that. But more importantly, it is the 25-year anniversary this month. Just a few short days ago, 7 days ago, because today is July 9th. If you are watching this in the future, it may not be July 9th anymore. But what we're saying today is just as important on any day of the week. I think that is important. And this is very, what's the word? Therapeutic. Yes, the word is therapeutic. It's very therapeutic for Mama to be talking about this again publicly. In this time of anniversary. Because if you know anything about psychology and therapy and all those things, anniversary dates can be very triggering when it comes to trauma. And it's sort of, these punches in the guts are a subtle form of trauma. So yeah. We think that this may not be, we hope You know, we would hope and pray, but we don't really pray because we're not really believers in God, the, official types way. We got some weird beliefs, okay, when it comes to the whole God thing. So it's just complicated and easier not to talk about those things in general and in, yeah. So there we go. Mama just has to reply to it's to a DM right now, and since there's no viewers out there, we'll just allow you to soak in and take some moments to make a comment about what you think so far and whether you have personally experienced being rejected in some way for your creativity. And this reminds us, as Mama is replying, this reminds us of a time. Well, this reminds us that as writers, you have to and I mean, if you are a writer, say hey in the comment area because Mama is first and foremost a writer. She started with nonfiction, with oh wait a second, not nonfiction, fiction, actual fiction writing was her original thinking in where she would go in terms of writing. But it ended up that she wrote more nonfiction over the years in the forms of copywriting and freelance writing. Mama is just replying with my address to a potential guest who is an author and also a puppeteer, but they are from Montreal. And she's asking them to be a guest on our show here, Paige the Puppet, because he just wrote a book. I'm not sure if it's him and his wife or him himself, but his name is Al Castonguay. Yeah, so she is just replying with, yeah, with my address and saying I'm live now. And yeah, so, okay, so getting back to the topic because she's finished now making that reply. So, okay, so yeah, being weird, being painful. So there's this thing out there that's saying being weird is wonderful. We can actually pull up, I think we can pull up our screen and show, share, yeah, share screen, and we can go share screen. And Mama's going to share the screen, and we're going to go to Chrome tab, and we're going to go, yeah, to this Google search. And we're going to go share. And so here it is, and we're going to change the layouts. There you have it. Oh, hi. I noticed there is a live viewer out there. Thank you so much for joining me. We're just showing the screen where it shows this whole idea that being weird is wonderful. And Mama was sharing some experiences of when being weird has caused pain instead of being wonderful. Now, there have been times, do not get us wrong, there have been times where being weird is wonderful. And we would love to live in a reality where our wonderfulness is acknowledged and that it is as wonderful as the memes tend to say. But it is not, has not been completely our reality. Now, we have to say that our inspiration to start this channel, Savvy Writes Books. Let me just fix my hair there. I notice my hair is not exactly wonderful here. Let me fix that. A little vain here. Sorry, I'm as vain as my mother. What can I say? If you are joining us here live, let us know. And I'm going to just take this off of the screen. I think we can go back to just being me, the solo layout. There we go. Back to me and Mama, at least Mama in her frozen form. And we'll get back to some stories of pain pain and weirdness. And yeah, so there's that that message out there to embrace your weird. And I have to say with all our heart, Mama and I, we are trying our best, but it is difficult. It's difficult to overcome that pain of rejection. It can lead a little bit to isolation. Now, we have, in many cases, used the internet and our online connections to overcome that what's the well to overcome that isolation using the friends we've met in online groups. But we have to say there is only one entrepreneur group in all the ones, including the paid groups, the mastermind groups of many different levels. Mama has been a member of mastermind groups, memberships for entrepreneurs at the $25, $37, and $97 levels. And at every one of those levels, MLMs were accepted as equals. They weren't looked down upon, or nobody questioned them, or invited any questioning of or doubt, or they just treated them like regular businesses of every, like it except for one. The only one that Mama has ever come across that doesn't allow MLMs is the one that started by Savvy, the Real Moms one. I guess if you are interested in that one, we can definitely put it up. But most of our fans come from Savvy's channel, either Savvy's channel or the Your Morning Guru. And I think all of the people's on the Your Morning Guru channel come from Savvy's channel, or maybe RK. Does RK? Yeah, RK has a channel because he talked about in an earlier one how his reactions were the best ones. You know what? I don't actually watch him. We have to fix that. But the truth of the matter is, Mama and I, we already spend about 7 or 8 hours a week consuming Savvy's content, between Savvy and Your Morning Guru, of course, which is awesome. But that's one of the ways that we overcome isolation, because that's one place where we don't feel weird, where we feel accepted. And we also want to create that sort of place here on our channel for the people that we can specifically help, because Mama is certified as a small business coach and trainer, and not the kind of lifestyle business trainer that many of our friends expose as scams. Like, sometimes you might find that Mama utilizes some of the same strategies or some of the same styles that a scammer might use, but there's differences and there's reasons. And Mama used to do webinars to get people to buy her products, and it wasn't in a scammy way at all, and we stand by everything she has sold. She's always had integrity that way. Like, she's never recommended something that she wouldn't use herself, or that she wouldn't recommend to her very best friends. And we're always like that. Like, we would always recommend things that we either use or consume, or that we have experience with, or we have experience with the owner, or something that makes us know that what we're recommending is going to be of good value for the people it is recommended for. But here's the thing, not everything is good for everybody, and not everybody fits in to every strategy or everything out there. So we hope that makes sense. We were kind of hoping that this timeline would work for encouraging conversation, because that's what we really want to do. We want to find our tribe. Oh, I hate that term. Mama hates that term, because it really isn't fair to our Indigenous friends, because they Indians or tribes, and we are not, because we are not. So we're not looking for that, but we love the rhyming, and we are sad that's not a term we can use. But I hope you know what we mean. We're looking for our people who resonate with the pain and that sort of thing. Does that make sense to you? Mama has to mute for a second. Um, just a second. I have to go silent. Excuse me. Mama had to cough and burp. So we didn't want to do that in your ear, as it is. So here, yeah, okay. So going back to the topic matter of this live, because we do want to keep it on topic, and we did bring in some notes. Oh, where did you put your phone, Mama? Where? Oh, there it is. Okay, the phone with the notes and our thoughts on being weird. Oh, this would be a good time to remind you, if you are enjoying this so far, or you can relate, or maybe you don't relate. We'd love to hear, because we can adjust a lot of this content for our viewers. And that's what we kind of want to do. We want to be able to provide the information and the knowledge in Mama's head in a way that is easy to understand and simple to apply. And it's all about, we know about what we want to do. Going back is again, specializing in champagne marketing on a beer budget for small, independent, creative, small business owners. And we want to do that by explaining the terms and strategies of promotions and profit in ways that are simple to understand and apply. Because that's really what we've always been about. Mama, in the time before the puppets, when she was just, a small business publicist. And, even back in the day, okay, so we have not always been anti-MLM, and Mama has used her publicity skills to get coverage for MLM distributors in our local area. And she doesn't feel, there's a part of us that feels really bad for that, and there's a part of us that's kind of, we didn't know. You do better. Maya Angelou said this, so don't come at us accusing us of being Rachel Hollis, where we don't give credit where credit is due, especially when it comes to Maya Angelou. She said this, and some ways we agree with it, and some ways, yeah. Okay, so which one were we going to quote? We got sidetracked by the whole Rachel Hollis thing, which is incidentally how we found Savvy in the first place. Because Mama always thought that lady was sketchy, but the aforementioned Chamber of Commerce lady that was in Primerica recommended her book, that first one, Girl Wash Your Face. And Mama was like, but I had heard that lady plagiarized. And then so Mama was Googling about this lady plagiarizing, and it turned out she did, and it turns out she continued to do that. And that brings us up back to quoting Maya Angelou, where she says, when you know better, you do better. And this has not always been the case for Mama and myself, because, even knowing better, we have not always been able to do better. And part of that is that because Mama suffers from ADHD like symptoms. We cannot say equivocally ADHD, because it hasn't been formally what's the word? Formally diagnosed by a doctor, but we really what's the word? Really identify and resonate with the symptoms, but those symptoms also correlate to PTSD. And while Mama has again not been formally diagnosed, she has again some symptoms, and some of these symptoms we did start to address in counseling therapy, going to a therapist. We have not done so in approximately 10 years. It's been about 10 years since Mama has formally seen a therapist, a talk type therapist. Hi, I noticed there is a live viewer out there. We are just here talking about how, in our experience, that is the experience of this lady next to me. This is Patricia with a Y. Patricia with a Y, also known as Mama. So yeah, pain, causing pain as opposed to being wonderful. And we think that that can be a toxic positivity type message. And we were just talking about how over the years it's taken time for Mama to realize the damage. Oh, thank you, Cool Gamer. We really appreciate that you like our stream and that you've tuned back in. And if you do have any questions or things that we can help you with in terms of if you are you? I'm not sure if you've ever answered this before, but if you do feel like answering, let us know if you are a small, creative, independent business owner who desires or requires champagne marketing on a beer budget, because we certainly do want to remain on topic for this channel, but we wanted to go off topic today and just have this coffee conversation about how weird is pain, because like Mama, we were just saying as you were tuning in, Mama hasn't been to talk therapy in 10 years, and a recent book that we read made us realize we really do have to put that up on the priority list. We definitely do need some therapy. And that book, we want to know, would you like us to do a formal book report on this book? Because it is not directly related to small business. It is a book about trauma and unaliving and murder. It's a rather traumatic book. It was traumatic for Mama to read, but it was also rather illuminating as well. So if you'd like us to do a book report on that, like I said, nothing to do with small business, but we do know that a lot of viewers here came from Savvy's channel and RK's channel, and they do book reviews there. And maybe you would like that. So if you would, let us know in the comment section, and Mama will surely do a book review on that. So what was Mama saying? Oh yes, we're going back to the topic today. We just wanted to do an open topic, a conversation over coffee, and talk about how weird can be pain and how the creative process is tied keenly to rejection. One of the things Mama learned early as a aspiring freelance writer. Now, this was back in the dark ages of freelance writing, when self-addressed envelopes were still a thing, and editors and agents and publishers did not accept email queries or email submissions. Like, this is normal today. Even if you are going the traditional publishing route and that sort of thing, they accept things this way. Back then, they did not. It was a long process, which is how Mama ended up being a copywriter in the first place, you see, because Mama originally, way back when she started, was that she started in early childhood education. She started as a professional child care provider. And there were limitations to her income as a child care provider. she wanted a little bit more than what being a day home could provide, even at her maximum capacity. So at that time, in the beginning, she could take on 5 children, not including her own, because she had a baby who was about 6 months, not about 6 months old, he was 6 months old. He was almost exactly 6 months old when she started being an at-home child care provider. And she always aspired to be a professional in that capacity, which why it was an extra kick so many years later to be told that our puppets, her puppets, and me, not specifically me, because I don't think the lady even knew or understood me or the whole puppetry thing and what it meant to Mama and all of that. Anyways, going back to our story, about Mama in the early days. We started Mama was a mama of her first human child. She has 3. In case you didn't know, Mama has 3 human boys that they are men, but they are not boys, they are men. She thinks it's important to acknowledge that they are men. And one of them, well, they are all very creative. She's so very proud of them, even though to the outside world, it might not look like they, are doing much because they live at home and they don't have traditional jobs, but they have dreams. I know they have dreams, even though they have not all. The eldest one, he's articulated his dreams and we are so excited for him. But those are his dreams to tell, not my dreams to tell. So we're going to go back to the beginning. Her 6 months old. So she could take on 5 children, not including her own, and she maximized. I did not exist back then. She maximized her income by providing after hours care, weekend care, whatever was needed. She was adaptive and flexible to allow hours that were conducive to a variety of lifestyles. And this is one of the ways that she stood out as a child care provider in her area and allowed her to make a little bit of extra money and to maximize what she was making as a child care provider. But there is a ceiling to that. You can only take on 5 children at a time as a registered or private operator, because it applies, these rules do apply whether you are private or registered within the province of Alberta. Your mileage may vary. One of the things that was really disappointing to Mama is that they don't have large family child care provisions within the licensing standards of Alberta. And in another lifetime, she might have fought for those provisions because it provides a much better peace of mind, I think, for the parents to know that there's 2 child care providers there and that there's always 2 sets of eyes on the children. And it also provides camaraderie and adult interaction for the child care providers, but it's not allowed for in Alberta at the present time, or, so there's that. So, but it is possible in some states. So that's something to look into if you are looking at side gigs and childcare providing happens to be one of those things that you are considering. I don't know what you want. Let me know in the comments area. I didn't mean to go into this. We started with the topic of how weird is pain, and I don't know. Oh, yeah, then we got onto the topic of rejection and it being a common thing and something that Mama learned about early in her freelance writing career, back when you used to have to send snail mail to the editors of different magazines if you wanted to write for them. And Mama was pretty pretty good at writing a query letter back then. But that was back in 1997, back when Google was just starting to emerge as the leader in search. I mean, the whole AdSense thing didn't exist. It was like, no, actually, I guess it did exist by that point, but it was just in the beginning. And actually, Mama wrote a book on that. As a ghostwriter, she wrote a book on blogging, which blogging with Blogger. Blogging with Blogger. I think that was around 2008, though, that she wrote that book. And already by that time, Blogger was losing traction in the marketplace as the blogging platform of choice for bloggers. But she did do that, and that was $600 US, if we recall correctly, that she charged for that back in, like I said, that would have been around 2008, I think. Yeah, 2008. It has been a long career for Mama, and the truth be told, she's just been following her intuition and heart for most of it. In the beginning, in those days of early childhood providing, she was just doing what she knew. Because she had looked after kids when she was in high school, and that's what her mama did. Even though her mama was, her mama was a schizophrenic, like diagnosed as a schizophrenic. Although later years she was re-diagnosed as a bipolar, as a person with bipolar. I'm not sure what the proper terminology for that is these days, but yeah. I think manic depressive is the one I think that is no longer in use. It is complicated when you get older and terminology changes. I know that many people may not understand that, but yeah, that's a thing, and that's a thing for maybe another day. Anyways, so yeah, that. Oh, goodness. Is he healed already? Oh, my. It really is new. I guess we have been talking for nearly an hour here. What we are referring to, I'm not sure if you heard the beeps in the background, but those beeps in the background were the security system that lets us know that No, it's not Mr. Patricia, is it? It's not Mr. Patricia with a Y. I guess we'll just call him the locksmith, Mother's husband-to-be. Oh, that's another thing we should be celebrating. Mama is officially divorced, legally, and all that. Celebrate, yay, for Mama, and the fact that she can now finally plan a real wedding with the locksmith, because he's the best man in the world and allows Mama to be a princess, to the point that she doesn't even have to think about getting up at this point. She just knows that he'll come in and probably get started on making lunch, because yeah, like I said, she is a princess. And speaking of princess, Princess Violet, if you don't know, was the first of the puppets to be made, and she was made expressly with the hope of spreading the message of local shopping and the importance of local shopping to the local marketplace, especially in a small town, because Mama has lived in a small town. Hi, I noticed there is a live viewer out there. Just letting you know we are open to comments and suggestions. Our original topic was how being weird has been a source of pain for Mama over the years, and we were just talking about that, using you, our viewers, as a personal therapy session while waiting while we're on the search for the right therapist for mama's needs. And so meanwhile, we're just talking about it using YouTube as our personal therapist. So hi, how you doing? What is your Saturday looking like? Are you a small business owner, a small creative independent business owner, or do you fall into just, are you just an average YouTube viewer, or maybe you're a writer? Are you, well, I mean, writers are creative independent business owners by definition, in my opinion. Yeah. So, anyways, let me know. I see that there's a live viewer out there, and I'd love to interact with you because that is the joy of going live. And well, we just like love going live and being able to interact on a live level, So, anyways, yeah. Meanwhile, if you have nothing to say, I can work cool with that. Cool with that. That's a-okay. If you're an introvert, you don't want to share your ideas online, on the World Wide Web, on the YouTube, so it's say, that's cool too. We'll just go back to our points in our conversation. Just give us a second here because Mama needs to take another swig of that coffee. We invite you to let your fingers do the talking if you so choose. We're all about consent here. We don't want to force you. We don't want you to feel pressured because we are not Huns. Neither Mama or I. Well, the truth is Mama was a Hun once. Okay, it's not true. She was never a Hun, but she was enrolled in a couple of network marketing schemes over the course of her small business career. Because, until recently, until I think it was last year, maybe the year before, life, it goes fast once you hit 40, Mama says. Mama just wants to remind you of that, just in case you are interested. Oh, hi, Meerkat World. How am I doing this? Well, here's the thing. I would tell you my secret. Mama recorded herself just sitting there and looking at the camera for 2 minutes. Just staring at the camera so that she can be there beside me and be a part of the whole thing so that she can also respond to you. And I'll show you that in a minute, how she can respond to you and how I can just sit here and be quiet in a minute. But yeah, so she recorded 2 minutes and then we just have it on a roll. And then we have that going in XSplit. Which is it's kind of like OSB that maybe you've heard about. I'm not sure how much you know about. Oh my goodness, no, Mama can't do ventriloquism. She moves her lips and she can't keep track even when she tries. She's tried it and she just wasn't very good and very successful at it. So we gave up on that and we just use camera illusions. So if you have any questions directly for her as a small business owner, we can get her to talk. Actually, maybe, Mama, would you like to take over? And maybe you can talk directly and you can say hi to Meerkat's World because I know. Okay. Oops. Okay, hi. Just give me a second. I will pull up. Yeah. Yes. Okay, now I have it. Yes, I am Patricia with a Y, in case it wasn't obvious. And yeah, Meerkat's World, this is how we do it. So I have the program XSplit, and I recorded that 2-minute slice of myself just looking at the camera. And then when I want to have page talk, I just pull up that screen, switch the whatchamacallit, I don't know
exactly what you call it. The technical terms are not my strong suit, but that is basically how I managed to do it. And it's one of those things that took me time to figure out exactly how I was going to do it. It does require that I do one of those 2-minute segments every time I am going to go live, so that everything matches as far as my outfit and my hair. And I think that it is quite obvious in some scenes where my hair might not quite match. And so if you do see discrepancies, that's why that is happening. So yeah, Paige and I decided that we wanted to come on here and talk about how weird can be painful, how it can be lonely, how it can be isolating. In the previous hour, we've talked about where I began as a small business owner, and that began 25 years ago this week. Well, I guess I'm not sure exactly how you would do it this week or last week. It was July 2nd, 1997, when I opened my very first So was I, Mariquette World. I was born weird. Yeah, there was no getting away from it. It's not a choice. It is just the way I was. I don't think that there was any avoiding it. Part of it was, cultural. For those of you who don't know, I'm half East Indian, half Scottish. So that in itself is weird. A lot of people I know throughout the world are half or, even different, combinations of being. But that one in particular was what I was. So that was particularly weird. And the weird thing was, well, there's lots of weird things about that. And some of the jokes I've made over the years, some dark ones, because when you do live through trauma as a child and as an adult, you get to be dark, and you get to be, yeah. So anyways, one of the ways that I used to describe myself is I'm half East Indian, half insane. And that is partially because, as Paige and I were talking about, my mother was originally diagnosed as schizophrenic, and she was institutionalized for the first time before I was born. And the first time when I was about 9 months old, and then for a longer period of time when I was about 18 months old, or somewhere between 18 months and 3 years old. I do remember, well, I don't remember, but I do know that I lived with my maternal grandparents from the time my mother went into the institution until I went to go and live with my dad and my stepmom, and they were full East Indian, first generation. No, it's not even first generation. The immigrant, they both came over from India directly. So that first. And there's Honey Bear. Just entered the room. Honey Bear is, of course, our dog. And you can't see her, but she is adorable. Anyways, you'll just have to trust me on that one. So where was I? I was talking about, oh yes. So yeah, I was experienced a lot of the first generation born of immigrants type experiences, and some special challenges when it comes to that, at least when it comes to being a child of the 70s. I was born in 1972, and if you do the math, that means I am turning 50 in November. But going back to that first part, I was just talking about how my weirdness, and as you said, starting from the beginning, I was weird. There was no getting around that. But for many, in some ways, I tried to blend in, and in some ways, it was simply impossible. And part of it has been embracing the weird, but even as an adult, I find it difficult sometimes to live in a world that doesn't value creativity, that doesn't, I mean, it's all about conformity. And as you may be able to tell, I'm not about conformity, but then finding those places where you fit when you don't conform. Okay, so you are in my age range, you're 55, so you know what it's like to have gone through all of these changes in technology and how things go. I am presently a teacher's assistant. Well, I'm not presently, it's summertime and I'm babysitting for my day job. Because I haven't found it lucrative enough. And yeah, well, I have in the past found it lucrative enough to be at home full time, but it doesn't fulfill my needs as far as interaction. Like, I have been home full time and done the full work from home all the time thing, but I don't find it as appealing now that my children are grown up, and it doesn't fit me and it doesn't fit my needs as an extrovert. Because, yeah, and that's another way that I find I'm weird or different compared to a lot of small business owners out there, is that, or not all small business owners, but a lot of creative people tend to be introverts, and I am not. So that's, one of those ways that it's hard to conform and to find, well, not to conform, because I do not want to conform. But it's hard not to be lulled into a sense of, well, if I could just find people who were like me, that it would be less difficult, less painful. Anyways, so those are some of my thoughts today. Let me know, Meerkat's World, if you have. So are you a small, creative, independent business owner, as is our target market for this channel, or do you fall into another category of person? Are you just somebody who loves, or are you a content creator? I actually haven't clicked on your link to find out. I do know most of the viewers that we interact with, but not all of them. So yeah, let me know, and I can try and gear, like Paige was saying. We are working to gear our content towards what we think but it's hard. It is really hard to think back to the beginning. So you found me through Savvy. Most people did. I think that we are at 179 subscribers now, which is way more than I ever achieved on my own. So, Paige has been an awesome good luck charm for me as far as building an audience goes. It's not the largest audience I've ever had. My largest audience I ever had was an email list of 600 childcare providers, but that was back in 1999, before I really knew the power of what I had in my hands, because that same, that's a regret for another day. But yeah, so you found me through Savvy. You're employed full time. I hope you love it. So if you are employed full time, this, the things I talk about might not be altogether interesting to you, but I will try and make it interesting to you, because I do know a lot about trauma, if you've happened to have been through it. Not that I'm, a counselor, any of that sort of thing, but I just can relate on a personal level, being the child of somebody who has mental illness, and somebody who suffers from varying degrees of mental illness, which isn't easy to say. It can be really hard to come out and say that out loud in public. Because there is still a lot of stigma attached Okay, so you have an art and writing background, so creative, that fits, right? Being creative, even if you don't like, I mean, I found that even when I had full-time jobs, I was still applying my creativity to what I was doing. I bring myself to every job and all of myself. So some of the things that I did within my day jobs were also creative and included my writing. And of course, the last one being my dream job, which I lost due to the puppets, which is, part of why I am here today and part of why I am fumbling through trying to figure out all of it. All of it. Anyways, I am going to take a sip of coffee and put Paige back in the spotlight.
Okay, so here we go. Back to me, because technically, Mama ought to remember is my name. My name on this channel, and she will never be anything other than a co-host and a special guest. I love her. I love her completely. But as she said, people follow this channel for me. At least that's what I believe. And that's how I feel more comfortable. I feel more comfortable being online and talking as Paige the puppet. It's like it's her, but it's me. And me, I am much more, I don't know, just easygoing and positive and being comfortable. Absolutely comfortable in my weirdness in a way that Mama just hasn't been able to become and be. Not the way that she would like to be. Maybe it's not possible. Maybe it is not possible to be weird without pain. Yes, exactly. Also coffee. This is a way that she can hide behind, and you barely know that she is drinking the coffee, but you kind of know because she always says that. It's like not a secret. Anyways, I'm going to go silent for a couple of seconds. And I am so glad that you like coffee too. Oh, by the way, actually, there's a question I could ask you. Meerkat World, do you drink Starbucks? I really want to know. Do you drink Starbucks? And that's for everybody else in the audience. Because I was thinking, okay, so here's the thing. Mama will not go into Starbucks unless she absolutely has to. It's like a last resort sort of thing. But because she likes coffee, people assume that she likes Starbucks. So she has 3 only once in a while as I travel. Yeah, Mama doesn't even do it if she travels. She always tries to look for the independent business or pack her own. She's kind of a take it from home kind of person because she is cheap, but also, oh damn it! Sorry if you hear the background noise. That's just the locksmith yelling at the dog. So, anyways, that's so annoying, don't you think? Anyways, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. The dog is, eating some, what's the word? Oh, bottles. Yeah, the pop bottles. Yeah. So, anyway, I was trying to say. So anyway, Mama got these 3 gift cards to Starbucks, and it's like, well, I won't use them, because if we're gonna say that we practice what we preach, then she can't walk into a known corporate entity like Starbucks isn't even owned in Canada, and nobody only 17%. If the statistics that Mama knows in her head or that she's memorized that may or may not be accurate but will probably be close, 17% of the profits stay in our community. That's it. That's all. And it's like, you know what? Mama will rather go to the local independent people's, or at least, at the very least, the Canadian-owned franchise. Because the Starbucks enterprise doesn't even do franchises. They just do corporate-owned stores. And we think that is the worst. The worst. Do they do better than Tim Hortons in Canada? Well, I don't know because I haven't looked up the numbers. I'm not particularly interested, and I haven't ever helped. Mama's never helped a coffee business before, so we don't have those. See, this is the thing. Every business that Mama helps, Mama tends to remember the data from that industry. So we know a little bit about florists, we know a little bit about photographers, but we don't know. We don't know much about the coffee business and what the market share might be for each um, for each type of industry. But we do know that almost in any cross industry, the local independently owned is going to put the most money into the local economy. The second on the list is a locally owned franchise. And of course, third on the list, if you cannot go anywhere else, if it's the ultimate family only option, then, of course, you're going to go to the corporate place instead of going out of town. Because anytime you go out of town or online or stuff like that, that's no money. No money going into your local economy. And it's those things that support our ball clubs and our dance clubs and our gym clubs and all of the things that the peoples in a town enjoy. So, yeah. That's why we wanted. So we're thinking that we might give away the Starbucks gift cards in a giveaway. We're not sure, but that's why we asked if you like Starbucks. And so that remains a question for anybody who is joining us in the afterwards and wants to chime in. Do you like Starbucks? Would you use the card? Because we don't judge if people do not have the same outlook as we do. And if you love Starbucks, hey, I don't mind buying you a coffee if that's what if you prefer. We're all about the, I don't know what we call that, but we're all about the love for everybody, the kindness, because it really was a very kind act of the teacher and of the little kids, the students who gave those cards to Mama. They had their heart in the right place. You know what I mean? So we can give it with love too. Anyway, so that's what we were thinking and what we were talking about. So yeah, the topic of today is how weird is pain. Because, I was saying earlier, my shirt, it says, march to the beat of your own drum. But unless you have complimentary musicians, it can get lonely beating to your drum. And also, it could probably give you a headache. Probably. What do you think? So, okay. I will go back to my notes if you don't have any questions, because I don't know what kind of questions you might have. If you have a full-time job and you love it, well, then, that's awesome. Because Mama, she used to once upon a time have a full-time job that she loved. But she gave it up because she didn't want to give us up. True story. True story. That's why today we specialize in champagne marketing on a beer budget for small, independent, creative small business owners. And that's what we are trying to turn this channel into. But Mama has, because of her background and illness, she's been really, really struggling with being tired the last few weeks. It's been a little rough on her psyche and on her energy levels, and she's just trying to sort things out and feeling once again that being weird is hard, and really, just embracing the fact that she's not feeling as positive and upbeat as we typically are. Yeah, so there's that. So as I said, we were we really, really, really want to concentrate on the terms and strategies of promotions and profit. But today, we're not being simple. We're talking about feelings and visions and really being a creative in a capitalistic world. because we live in a world that generally awards conformity, and it doesn't exactly reward being weird, being different, no matter what. And no matter what all the memes say, we have still experienced that it is hard to find a place when you don't quite fit in. One of the other ways that Mama has tried, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling. Let me know if I'm making sense. We do want to know that we're making sense, that we're being relevant, that we're keeping you interested. Of course, there's only Meerkat World to be keeping interested at this point. But if you are watching in the audience of the afterward time of watching the re-recording or the remix, we are trying to remember to remix these things and the things that we think are particularly what's the word? Particularly insightful and helpful. We're going to try and remix them and use them in shorts because we're trying to learn to maximize our time the way that Mom once tried to maximize her time when she was a professional child care provider. Although I guess technically she is once again a professional child care provider. But anyway, however you cut it, we have heard that ShareCore has benefited from her brief talk on our show, and some of the advice that Mama and I we hashed out in that, and she was able to get a camp thing going on that's creative, like we were talking about. So that's really good news for our previous guest, ShareCore. If you haven't watched that interview, she is also an avid viewer and commentator on Your Morning Guru and on Savvy Writes Books, which of course is where, really without her, I would not exist as a channel. I wouldn't have had the guts and the courage to come out and be the pink puppet who talks about publicity and promotions and helping the small business owner and railing against the MLMs. Being anti-MLM is something that is new for Mama, but I've been doing it most all my life. And she finds it easier to talk the MLM stuff through me. Yes, YMG community is awesome. And I'd like to use them, not in a bad way, but as a way to catapult and step myself out there and really help the people that the MLMs are trying to ruin. Because Mama really thinks that she can help with the people who want to start a home-based business. She just can't live up to, a lot of the promises that the MLM gurus that they make, and a lot of the promises even that some of the other business gurus online that they make. Like, she's not a business guru. She's a certified business coach, certified small business coach. And we have a certificate and everything. And she took a course and she learned. And more than that, she's been doing things on her own and as a support person for 25 years. 25 years this month. It ought to be worth a lot, but, because she's weird, she finds it hard to find her place. And, there's been some, what's the word? Well, yeah, of course it's a good thing to not be a guru. We don't want to be a guru. We want to be a princess. Okay? Like that. Let's just make it clear. Mama is a little bit lazy. Like a little bit. Not lots and lots. Just a little bit. And we don't want, see, here's this thing. We don't know how to make six figures without sacrifice. We don't know. But we do know how to make a living from home. We did it. We did it for 8 years. I think it was 8 years. If we add them up, was it 8 years after 25? Because Mama goes back and forth between having a day job and doing things on the side. Like okay, so she was saying, you weren't here yet, but she was saying before we started, and for those who are, they watched the recording, they will know this already, that she started her first business when she was 25, obviously, because she's going to be 50 this year. Yeah, so if you do math, you know that already. And so she started as a childcare provider. She just, opened her home, and it was a challenge because she did not have a house like some childcare providers. She had a 2-bedroom apartment. And so one of the things she did, it was a little sacrifice, but they gave the master bedroom, the bigger bedroom, to the kids, to her son and to the babysitting kids, so that they would have the bigger bedroom, and that she and her then happy now ex, thank the clouds. We're not religious, so we'll just say thank the clouds. Anyway, that became official this week. This week, Mama became divorced. Yay! Anyways, just aside, what's the word? Celebration, because it really is a celebration. He was a toxic person. So that was, Mama wants, she's not sure. She's pretty sure she coined this term. This is not like stolen from somebody, but she's pretty sure. She hasn't found it anywhere else. And if it is, thank you for that. Congratulations. She is so happy. And honestly, she is thinking that this is her time to shine, because now she's not feeling like there could be some accidental where he might come back and take her money's sort of situation, because they're officially divorced now and not married, and now she feels that she's protected from potentially, I know, right? Like, she shouldn't have to worry about that sort of thing, but it was a long story. We could talk about it someday if you ever want to talk about it. Anyway, she was talking about the term. The term is TAR, toxic abusive relationships. So yeah, she was stuck in the TAR for 22 years, officially and legally, and also in reality, because she was with him for 11 years before she actually got married to him. So no telling, that's how dumb. Well, she wasn't dumb, okay? She did the best with what she knew at the time. So I don't want to make you think that but I mean, from the outside looking in, oh my goodness. Like, hello, did you not see the red flags? And the answer would be no, because she did it. And then it took another 10 years after it was over to get it legally finalized. So, it was 22 years of time in the jar. So, that's something she has. Okay, you can say, oh, no, not dumb at all, but come on, we know. And it's okay, because we don't judge. Everybody makes dumb decisions when they are young. And especially if you don't know much else, she was 17. 17. Oh my God, there are songs about that, She was just 17. You know what I mean when I saw her standing there. Anyway, red flags in retrospect. I love that. No, I don't love that. I actually really hate that. But anyway, so anyway, 22 years in tar, and now she's free, and now she's gonna be a princess again sometime next year. She's gonna walk around down the aisle again, and it's gonna be, pretty awesome, because she's now been with the locksmith for, what is it? It's been 10 years. It'll be 10 years it was 10 years in March. And if the math doesn't add up for you, that's because technically it was nearly 10 and a half years because they separated in, let's see, September of 2010. And then she met the locksmith in March of 2011. So yeah, that's how all that works in terms of, she wasn't, as the ex will claim, if you ever ask him, and if you happen to run across him and ask him about his ex-wife, he will tell you that she was a cheating whore. And an absolute bitch and cow, and a lot of other bad words. I mean, he just doesn't stop when it comes to the derogatory things that he will tell you about her. Because, hello, as she said, tar. And he's the victim. Surprise, 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 if you ever do happen to have that opportunity. And for her kids who are watching, or maybe watching, because they have all said that they will watch this on silent, any Paige the Puppet production. Uh-oh, we just lost my camera. So I imagine that you are just hearing the sound of me, and we cannot fix that as it is. So you're just looking at Mama and not me in this. Sorry about that. I guess we ran out of battery. Okay, so now we know the battery lasts about an hour and 20 minutes. Hi, I noticed there is a second viewer out there. If you're viewing me now, we just lost our camera, and you are seeing the mama on the screen in her pre-recorded thing. So if you actually, I'm not going to continue because I have been talking for an hour and 20, and that's going to be a lot for anybody who is watching on the recording. But I'd love to continue this conversation. If you have enjoyed this conversation, if you want to dive more into how weird is painful, if you want to talk about more toxic, abusive relationships and how you can still build a business even if you're in the midst of one, because Mama had to. If you follow the timeline, you know that Mama had to be trying to build that relationship. Not that relationship, although she did try and work on that relationship for way too long. But that's beside the point. But she's talking about business here and doing that. Yes, okay. You enjoy the rest of your day too. We may or may not come back later. We do have another battery ready to go, but we also have dinner probably. Not dinner, but lunch. We'll have lunch on the table for the mama. Of course, I don't eat. But anyways, I'm going to say bye now. Bye, and have an amazing rest of the day. I love you and thank you, and Mama thanks you too. Bye.